It was the spring of 1502 in the Romagna region of Italy. Cesare Borgia, the Duke feared across the Italian peninsula, sent out gilded invitations to the lords who had opposed him just months before. The messengers arrived on horseback, their banners fluttering, promising reconciliation and new alliances. The banquet was held in a candlelit hall thick with the scent of roasted meats and spiced wine. Music played, goblets clinked, and Borgia, handsome, smiling, impeccably dressed, spoke of peace and prosperity. He clasped hands, embraced rivals, and toasted to a new era. But the following morning, the same hall was silent. Two of the guests, key leaders who had been smiling over wine the night before, were led into the courtyard and publicly executed. The others were sent home unharmed, but changed. No armies marched that day. No new laws were passed. Yet Borgia's power doubled overnight, because his real weapon had not been the sword. It was the story his surviving guests would carry back to their cities. That story, whispered in council chambers, retold in marketplaces, exaggerated in taverns, spread farther and faster than his cavalry ever could. It carried the weight of a simple truth. Loyalty meant safety, dissent meant ruin. The fear itself became the message, and here is the thing. That fear wasn't just a political tool, it was an economy. Courtiers traded in it, pamphleteers sold more copies because of it, and even rival rulers borrowed the tactic for their own ends. Fear, of course, long predates Borgia. It began as a primal instinct, hardwired to keep early humans alive. But once statesmen, merchants, and eventually corporations discovered its reliability, they refined it into a tool, and eventually into a product. Noam Chomsky once observed that every era has its boogeyman, a threat carefully framed to demand vigilance and compliance. In the Renaissance, it might have been a rival city-state or heretical sect. Today, it could be a virus, a market crash, or a vague but persistent other lurking at the edges of our collective imagination. And fear sells. It fuels headlines, wins elections, drives consumption, and accelerates innovation. Scarcity alerts, only 3 left in stock, exploit the same circuitry as medieval rumors of an approaching enemy army. The fear of missing out launches new technologies and fuels billion-dollar markets. Social media platforms, engineered for attention, have learned that outrage and anxiety keep us engaged far longer than joy or curiosity ever could. It's a business model that never runs dry. Governments weaponize fear to maintain order. Corporations monetize it to boost revenue. Media outlets trade in it to hold attention. And because fear can be endlessly reshaped, today's threat replaced by tomorrow's, its supply is virtually infinite. But the most unsettling truth is that this economy of fear isn't confined to leaders, boardrooms, or newsrooms. It seeps into our personal lives. We hesitate to voice unpopular opinions because we fear backlash. We buy things we don't need because we fear missing out. We cling to unhealthy routines because we fear the unknown more than we resent the familiar. Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He meant it for princes, but the logic escaped the palace walls long ago, finding its way into boardrooms, marketplaces, and even our most private choices. Which leaves one question. If wielding fear as a tool could guarantee your success, would you have the strength to leave it untouched?